Have you ever heard of a cosmetic procedure that claims it can help you lose inches without any surgery, no needles, and zero downtime? Well, that's exactly the promise behind a technology called Lipo-Sculpt. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this procedure says it can tackle that incredibly hard-to-lose fat based directly on the company's own information. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with why stubborn fat is even a thing. Then we'll dive into what Lipo-Sculpt actually is. After that, we'll get into the science they claim is behind it, what the whole process looks like from start to finish, and finally, we'll figure out who this is actually for. So, first things first, let's talk about the core problem this whole thing is trying to solve. You know, that specific, deep frustration a lot of us feel when there are certain spots that just refuse to slim down no matter what we do. I mean, it's a super common question, right? You can be doing everything by the book, eating healthy, working out consistently, but you still might have those little pockets of fat on your stomach, your thighs, or your arms that just seem completely resistant to change. And that's exactly the issue that treatments like Lipo-Sculpt are designed to go after. Okay, so that's the problem. What's the solution they're putting on the table? Let's take a closer look at what this technology is according to the people who make it. At its core, Lipo-Sculpt is a procedure that uses a really specific kind of laser energy. The keywords you gotta remember here are non-invasive and low level. All that means is it's designed to work from the outside of your body without ever breaking the skin. You know, to really get what Lipo-Sculpt is, it kind of helps to see what it's not. And the best comparison is traditional liposuction. Liposuction, as you probably know, is a full-on surgical procedure. It physically removes fat cells from the body and requires some serious recovery time. Lipo-Sculpt, on the other hand, claims to be the total opposite, non-invasive, zero downtime, and it supposedly works by kicking your body's own natural processes into gear. So the big question is, how on earth does laser energy supposedly do all of this? Let's dig into the science they say makes this treatment tick. This quote right here from the source material really sums up the whole philosophy. See, unlike some other treatments that try to kill or just get rid of fat cells for good, the stated goal of Lipo-Sculpt is way different. It's about convincing the fat cells to just open up and release what's inside. So here's how they say it works, broken down into 4 steps. First, they place these pads with low-level lasers right onto your skin. This laser energy then sends a signal to your fat cells telling them to create tiny temporary openings. Through these little pores, the cells release their contents, which is basically stored fat called triglycerides. That fat then enters your system and your body can use it as fuel. And here's the really important part. The whole idea is that this technology is just speeding up a completely natural process. It's supposed to copy what your body already does when you exercise. It signals fat cells to release fuel. The procedure just aims to do it on demand, in a very targeted way, and without damaging anything else around it. Okay, so the science part makes sense, at least in theory. But what's it actually like to go through this? What's the journey? And what are the results they promise? So, a standard course of treatment isn't a one-and-done thing. You're looking at about a 30-minute session, twice a week, for a whole month. But, and you have to pay attention here, look at that last point. It is absolutely critical. The provider makes it super clear that you must exercise right after the treatment to actually burn off the fat that's been released. If you don't, it could just get reabsorbed. These are the big selling points, right? The headline benefits they advertise. The whole pitch is built around safety, convenience, and precision. It's positioned as this painless lunchtime procedure that lets you go after specific spots you're worried about with absolutely no recovery time needed. Now, this timeline is really all about managing expectations. The results aren't supposed to be instant, they're cumulative. The idea is that each session builds on the last one over that 4-week course, leading to this gradual change as your body processes all that released fat. Okay, this might be the most important question of all. Based on what the provider themselves are saying, who is this treatment really for? And just as important, who is it not for? This quote pretty much says it all. The company is very direct about this. Lipo-Sculpt is not a weight loss treatment if you're significantly overweight. It's designed for body sculpting, for targeting specific areas to kind of fine-tune and contour a body that's already in pretty good shape. So if you were to make a checklist for the perfect candidate, this is what it would look like. We're talking about someone who's already living a pretty healthy lifestyle, but just needs help with those last few stubborn inches. They want a non-surgical option, and this is the big one, they are fully committed to doing that post-treatment exercise to make the results stick. So to wrap all this up, treatments like Lipo-Sculpt are sitting at this really fascinating crossroads. They use technology to jumpstart natural body functions to hit an aesthetic goal. And it leaves us with a much bigger question to think about. As these tools get more advanced and more available, how is that going to change how we think about fitness, health, and body image? Definitely something to chew on.